make more money by getting 3 months of picks from your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for free. Right now, if you buy a 90-day all-access pass at either site, you get an additional 3 months of access added on for no additional cost. This is going to cover the NFL, the college football bowls, NBA, NHL, MLB through June. Plus, if your handicapper does UFC, soccer, tennis, golf, it's all included. To redeem this offer, just go to your favorite handicappers page at WagerTalk or sportsmemo.com and choose the New Year's resolution promo and lock in 6 months of picks for the cost of 3.
Hey, Teddy Covers, it's me, Lawrence Presman. I haven't shaved in like 10 days. Last day of 2020. Exciting times. How are you, Teddy?
I'm doing just fine, Prez. That's a heck of an open, my friend. Why don't you tell people what's on the show today? The last show of 2020, because I'm sure they want to know.
Okay. Feed me, baby. Feed me. Dave Cokin up first. We're doing 3 bowl games: Kentucky, NC State, Oregon, Ohio State, UNC versus A&M. And then Andy Lang, he's coming on. We got some NFL prop bets. Your big game breakdown, which is interesting. Well, we won't even tell anyone about it right now. And of course, Ralph Michaels, the pen. You sent me 4 lead stories. Let's just do them all. We'll do them all 4.
Okay.
So the first one is Happy New Year to everybody. We absolutely love you guys. Part of our family. Blah, blah, blah. We'll do a better one at the end. The second one, for some reason, you want to talk about when a woman would be a head coach in the NBA, so go ahead.
Well, that was interesting. Look, we've never seen a woman coach any major sport for any period of time prior to last night when Greg Popovich got ejected and Becky Hammond became the acting head coach for the San Antonio Spurs. I was thinking if we were making an over-under on when a woman becomes a head coach, let's give it any of the 4 major leagues in the U.S., MLB, NBA, NHL, or NFL. When will we see a woman named head coach to one of those 4 sports in this century? Yes or no? Just an interesting question.
In the century?
In this century.
Like over the next 80 years?
How about by 2050 then? Let's say in the next 30 years.
I say by 2040.
Interesting. I'll take the over.
Yeah, it's definitely and hey, why not? We're pro women here, Teddy. We were talking about it before the show. We were all very pro women yesterday, last night, even Joe. Books get annihilated on both bowl games yesterday. You're going to cover a lot of that in your big bad beat segment.
Yeah, but certainly when there's an 11.5 point line move and the game ends up being a blowout in favor of the bettors, that's worthy of a lead. We'll break it down in big game breakdown. But last night's bowl results, or yesterday's bowl results, as bad as it gets for the books, and in particular the Oklahoma-Florida game, free money for those who bet it. And the only bets they took on that game was on the Oklahoma Sooners, and obviously it was a one-sided affair. So 11.5 point line move for a single event national TV game, I thought that was worthy of a lead story.
Okay, brother. Bowls all day, 3 days starting today. It's exciting. First game they scheduled up against us. Don't they want people to watch?
Yeah. We've got Mississippi State's already on the board in that contest, 7-0 over Tulsa. But the idea when there's a bowl game on against us, it's okay to have it on in the background with no volume. Yeah. That's the way they want to do it. That's the way they want to schedule the bowl. So be it. But I can't think of us being on against a bowl game before. I thought it was worthy of note. And obviously all day today, all day tomorrow, all day Saturday, single event games, lots of betting action. It's the bowl bonanza we've been waiting for.
I don't mean to call out your memory, but were we not against the bowl game yesterday?
Yeah, probably. No, I don't think. Were we? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Wake
okay.
game.
No.
We weren't?
No.
Oh,
No.
maybe it was the NFL. It was the NFL presidential address. Okay, I'm the old one with the bad memory. Speaking about the old one, Dave Cokin joining us. Happy New Year, Dave.
Thank you. Same to you.
You having a good bowl season so far?
I haven't done much. I mean, I've been staying away from these games for the most part because of the personnel issues that so many teams have had. I think I've played 2 games so far. Easy winner last night with Oklahoma. I mean, it was basically as close to free money as you're ever going to get. And basically 2 minutes into the game, it's like, well, this is going to be a snap, because it was clear that Florida had checked out mentally before that game even started. And it played out that way. That was a scrimmage for Florida, whereas Oklahoma they were taking the game seriously. They did not want to end another season with a loss, which they've been doing lately. Some of that was unfortunately for them because they got overmatched and stuck in the playoffs against teams that they couldn't play with. But they wanted to win that game last night, and they were still fired up in the fourth quarter, whereas Florida was like, and Dan Mullen got smart in the second half basically and said, let's just hand the ball off and get the hell out of here. And you're going to see a couple more games like that, I suspect. We might see one this afternoon. Army is, and I'm on the wrong side of this. This is why betting early is hazardous. Army +7. I thought that's a good bet. Army's going to be pretty excited about this game. Their left tackle's out. Their best running back is out. Probably their best defensive player is out. Those all broke late. The line's going wild. I'm not going to buy out of it at -10, which is kind of stupid because then I could middle myself. I'll just hope for the best. But this is the problem with betting early this year in football.
That is for sure. I mean, I was the idiot that was on Florida 10 days ago. So, yeah, been there. Let's get to it, boys. Kentucky -2.5 versus NC State, a total of 50. Dave Cokin, what do you like in this game? How should we bet it?
I'm not going to bet the game. I think NC State, well, they grade out slightly higher on my power rating. So I think there's a shade of value with NC State, but it's close. And when the number is 2.5, you're basically in a situation where you better pick the winner. And I'm not real sold on the mid-pack of the ACC. You saw Wake Forest yesterday, which is somewhat similar to NC State, and they just got absolutely demolished on the line of scrimmage by Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin was asleep early and then just took over the game and crushed them. That does worry me a little bit. Kentucky is probably the bigger and more physical team, and we'll see if that has an impact here. If I had to bet it, I'd take NC State, but I don't have to, and I'm not going to.
Yeah, let me ask you this, Dave, because from my assessment of this contest, it reminds me at least a little bit of Wisconsin Wake, and that I think Kentucky will be able to dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. The problem with laying points with Kentucky is I don't trust them to do anything offensively, even when they dominate the line of scrimmage on that side of the football. But with the base assessment, do you think Kentucky has the advantage in the trenches in this ballgame that merits them being the favorite?
I do. I don't think it's an enormous advantage, but I think it's an advantage. It's not like Wisconsin Wake Forest from that standpoint. Wisconsin is a veritable powerhouse in the trenches. Kentucky's not at that level, and Kentucky can be run on. So we'll see if NC State will commit to playing a sound fundamental game and running the football. I think if they do that, they've got a decent chance here. But I have a feeling NC State's going to come out and throw it all over the place, and I don't think that's the way to beat Kentucky.
Dave Cokin, everybody. You can find him at WagerTalk.com. We're lucky to have you, Dave. Oregon, Ohio State. Iowa State. Yeah. I'm still thinking about our incredible lead stories right off the top. It was gripping stuff. -4. 58 is the total. Dave Cokin, tell us.
So here's a game that, and I just talked about, well, I'm not sure who's going to, maybe Kentucky has the advantage in the trenches. This game, I think there is definitely an advantage in the trenches, and I think it belongs to Iowa State. I think they're going to be the more successful team running the ball and defending the run. And That really is what these bowl games come down to. If you can find the team that's going to win the rushing stats, especially both ways, you've got the winner in the game. I believe so far, the team with the better rushing stats on both offense and defense, when there's been a situation where there's been a team that's had the advantage on both sides going in, I think they're 7-1 straight up and 6-2 against the spread. That's real good. And in this game, I think Iowa State, well, the numbers say they do. And I think the style of play suggests they do even more, because the Pac-12 is not exactly a physically jarring conference. The Big 12 is. And I like Iowa State here. Now, it could be, I think it's going to be a competitive game. So, that -4 is a little bit dicey. But when it's -4, I think you've got to just pick the winner, especially in bowl games, where sometimes teams kind of give up if they fall behind. And I think Iowa State has the advantages here. They played really good ball at the end of the season. And if they were close to Oklahoma, as they showed in their championship game. If they can play close to Oklahoma's level here, I don't think there's much Oregon can do to stop them. I am not a big Pac-10, Pac-12 believer. And while Oregon could conceivably be the best team in that league, I don't think they match up well with Iowa State. I like the Cyclones. And that is a free play that I have posted at WagerTalk, in fact.
I want to ask you about Brock Purdy, Dave. I've heard mixed reactions on Purdy in terms of his NFL future. Is this a guy who's going to be playing on Sundays, or is this a guy who we like him in college, but he'll be lucky to be a backup if he makes the next level, unless he washes out prior to that?
He's got another year left in college, so I think we'll find out more next year. I think he showed some improvement, particularly late in the season. I think the skill set's there, and he's certainly mobile enough. So I wouldn't rule him out. And, his third year could be his breakout year. As it is right now, I would say he's strictly a backup. But we've seen guys get a lot better between their second and third years in a system. And I think Purdy certainly has a chance to do that.
Dave, last game we're going to talk about, and then actually I have a question from someone in the chat room that's a regular guest, and I try to honor some of, these guys are so good to us. UNC versus A&M -7, 65.5. This is going to be a really exciting game to watch. What do you like here? I decided it is, Dave.
Okay.
I have laid it down.
It could also be another game where the opt-outs have a huge impact and the game turns into shit. Okay. I mean, look, Oklahoma and Florida on paper, with both teams being at full strength, was a fabulous football game, as good as you would have found in the Bowls. But the opt-outs had a huge impact, and Oklahoma was a very disinterested team. This game,
Florida.
Florida. This game could be similar. And Mac Brown's kind of tipping his hand a little bit. Mac Brown with some comments about why the playoffs need to be expanded, because you're seeing, basically, to paraphrase what he's saying, you're seeing players not treating these other bowl games with much importance, and he didn't blame them for that. And his team is one of the teams that's been impacted by that. So I will tell you that had this game been with both teams at full strength, I would have loved North Carolina getting the points. Might have been a 5% play for me, because I think the situation for A&M is not good. I mean, A&M's very disappointed that they're not a part of the playoff, and I think that could adversely affect them. But North Carolina's got players opting out, and I'm talking key players. One thing we've learned over the past few years as the opt-out brigade has started, you do not want to be on the team with the opt-outs. You had one team with opt-outs cover this year, that was Texas. They did play pretty well, but they also were facing a team that wasn't very good in Colorado. But generally speaking, these teams with multiple opt-outs have performed miserably in the Bowls. And it's been pretty dramatic this season. I can't play North Carolina. I don't think I'm going to lay all this many points with A&M, but at this point, that's the key to handicapping these games, is the opt-outs. And the side with the opt-outs is the side to fade. North Carolina would therefore be the side to fade in this one.
Dave, great stuff, man. Love having you on here. Real quick, we got Repulate Gaming wants to know, what's Dave's take on the Ball State San Jose State game? So real quick, we got that going
I think
tonight.
San Jose
Any
wins,
quick
but I don't
thoughts?
want to lay this many points. So,
Teddy,
I
anything?
think there's slight value with Ball State, but I don't like playing MAC teams in the Bulls because they suck. And although they are 1-0 this year, but that was against Conference USA, which is even worse. San Jose is just Brennan's done a phenomenal job there. I think San Jose wins the game, but I wouldn't lay 9.5, so it's a no bet.
Yeah, and I'm a San Jose believer. If I'm playing, I'm laying. But Dave nailed it. The price isn't right, so I did not get involved in this game. It's just too high on the San Jose State Spartans.
Awesome stuff, Dave. We can't thank you enough. We'll get you on next week to talk national championship game. Can't wait. I won't be here. I know Teddy celebrating.
What?
Merrill taking over the hosting seat.
No, I will.
Dave, I understand. Dave, I get it. I would not come on if I wasn't here either.
I know. As it is, they got a lot of nerve playing this damn football game while this show's on. I agree with you completely on that.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's literally a slap in the face of you and me. Teddy, not so much. Anything to promote quick, and then we'll move on to the next segment.
Got a 5% bowl play tomorrow. I'm not going to bother to talk about the 5% record. If you don't know what it is by now, well, then you haven't been playing my games. Have one basketball best bet today, and very excited about the start of the hockey season. I was number 2 overall at WagerTalk last year in the NHL, and I want to improve on this year and be number 1.
Yeah, I want to be number 1 too, Dave. Eat Dave Cokin. We're right back, everybody, with Teddy's B6, Andy Lang, Ralph Michaels, a big game breakdown, and a whole lot more. Thanks, Dave, and Happy New Year.
Pay less and make more money by getting 3 months of picks from your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for free. Right now, if you buy a 90-day all-access pass at either site, you get an additional 3 months of access added on for no additional cost. This is going to cover the NFL, the college football bowls, NBA, NHL, MLB through June. Plus, if your handicapper does UFC, soccer, tennis, golf, it's all included. To redeem this offer, just go to your favorite handicappers page at WagerTalk or sportsmemo.com and choose the New Year's resolution promo and lock in 6 months of picks for the cost of 3.
It's time for a little bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. A recap of what happened in the betting world last night. And let's be very clear about it. All right. In bowl action yesterday, the books didn't get beat. They got crushed. It was a particularly bad night for the house when it came to college football. Wisconsin bet up from -7 to -10. That's a big move for a bowl game. Winning by 14 over Wake. Rob Vino got that one right. Helped keep me off of Wake Forest. Thank you, Rob. Oklahoma, obviously the big mover last night. +3 at the open, -8, even 8.5 out there at the close. That's at the close. A legit 11.5 point line move. I mean, the Gators tried a little bit. 55-20 final. Bad result for the books. That'll be the worst bowl game they have this year. At least they got books got some back with some wise guy under money, but there weren't many bets on the Florida Gators last night. Single event national TV game. All the money came for Oklahoma, and all that money won. Wasn't just bad in college football. Look at the NBA. There were 2 big line movers last night. One was the Lakers. They were -3.5 up to -7.5 when everybody was confirmed playing for LA, and then Aldridge had to sit for San Antonio. Lakers closed -7.5. They won by 14. And the books better catch on to that Lakers off a loss thing ASAP, or they're going to feel it in the pocket. Bettors were well aware of that last night. The other big bet, the big line move in the NBA, the Clippers, -2 up to -5, -5.5 when all their guys were playing. and they blew out a fat and happy Blazers squad. So the two big line movers in the NBA, both bad for the books. The two big line movers in college football, both bad for the books. And let's not forget one more. Prez talked about it with the highest and the lowest totals. When you're the markets struggle on the margins more than they struggle in the middle. When you have two teams that are going to run or two teams that are going to slow it down, the totals markets don't always get there. Last night, the Nets Hawks, it was the highest total of the year, 240. I had it circled an over before the lines came out, and the 240 scared me off it. They got to 240 with 6 minutes left last night, 145, 141 final. I've been doing this full time for 23 years. I still need to have lessons reinforced. You can bet those high totals over. You can bet those low totals under. Prez talks about it in the NFL. It worked in the NBA last night as well. College hoops. Big major conference steam total yesterday was Penn State, Indiana over, a 6-point move. Game went to overtime. Finished 87-85. Total closed 143. Somebody knew something. That wasn't good for the house. In small conference action, Seattle was the wise guy special. The Redhawks bet from -2 to -5. They beat the Portland Pilots by 16. We talked about it as a lead story yesterday. November might have been a great month. It was a great month for the books in Vegas. December 30th was not a great night for the books in Vegas. They lost in college football. They lost in the NBA. College hoops wasn't that great either. There you have it, Prez. Bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. The last one of the year. We'll do another one in 2021. You're muted.
Yeah, I'm muted because I was paying so much attention to your big bad beat segment. Anyway, whatever. Listen, I just want to reiterate what you were talking about because it's really, really important. There seems to be floors and ceilings, and that's ultimately why you want to bet the biggest totals over and the smallest totals under. If you look at hockey, for instance, very rarely do you see a game go over 7. Very rarely do you see a game go under 5. Those floors and ceilings are what give people an opportunity to find value. The same thing in NFL, the same thing in NBA. Bet those high totals over, bet those low totals under. You're going to win. You're in and you're out, and you could literally do it blind. Want to welcome everybody in. Eltard, haven't seen your name before. Hope I pronounced it right. You too, Justin Bander. Thank you for joining us. Justin Solz, 3 names I haven't mentioned. Jimmy, Carmine Bianco, I love you. Way to get on the treadmill today, Carm. Rara, how are you? Frank Bud, Money, Carlos, so many of you guys. Listen, everybody, I wish you all a happy new year at the end of the show, but this has been an insane year all around. I mean, literally started off with, half of Australia burning down from forest fires. Then we had COVID, the election this year, which was unbelievably polarizing, the entire Black Lives Matter movement, all the protests. We've had crazy sporting events canceled, put back on in the bubble. Teddy and I hosting a show together, which we haven't done in about 12 years. It's just been the most insane year. We could look back at this year as a terrible year or back at this year as a year full of events. I'm just going to move on to 2021, and I hope everybody does. I think 2021 is going to be awesome, and I hope all your dreams come true. My dream, Teddy, is to host a show with you, and it has come true.
So the beauty of that diatribe, which I'm not even sure what your point was, but the beauty of it was like, you're like, oh, I'm going to move on to 2021, as opposed to the alternative, which is you're just going to stay in 2020 and live
Teddy.
December 31st forever.
Oh,
yeah, we're all moving on to 2021.
New dream. I dream that the show with Teddy makes it onto ESPN. How's that, Teddy?
I would hate that. I don't want.
Yeah.
The beauty of this show is we don't have bosses telling us what to do.
Yeah.
I don't want a show on ESPN. All right, I could have.
Well, you don't have Joe Ranieri in your ear. I have Joe Ranieri in my ear.
Okay, great.
Okay, let's bring Andy Lang in, dude. Love all you guys. Hit that like button, please. Jeff Saturday, what's up?
How's it going, everyone? If I could just share something good from 2020, without COVID and everything, I probably would not be at WagerTalk because they brought me in after the COVID restart to tackle NASCAR when it first started. So without that, I may never be here. So that's a good thing from 2020. I would not be sitting here with you two fine gentlemen.
Well, Andy, I would say, and I mean this in all sincerity, if I could do it all over again, I would do it exactly the same way. I mean, every problem and every disaster that has happened this year has been all worth it just to be able to have you on Talk Today.
Thank you.
Now, can we get to some actual sports?
Yeah, let's bet on some sports.
Okay, brother, let's go. Look, this is an interesting week for NFL. We spoke about it in the NFL presidential address. Everybody should wade in carefully. You know, we don't know. You have the coach of Buffalo saying, I don't know if they're going to play. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? You'll find out. But what we do know, Andy, is there's tons of opportunity in the prop market, and especially this week. So let's get straight to it. You've got a prop on Phillip Rivers. I hand it to you.
This is a weird one. So on some of these sports books, you will find longest pass. And I know Chance is in the room, and this is one of his favorite bets. So I'm going to take Phillip Rivers over 38 yards for his longest pass. We do not think of Phillip Rivers as a deep passer at all, not at this point in his career. But he's gotten a pass completion of 39 yards or longer in 7 straight games. And they're facing a Jacksonville team that is playing for nothing. Maybe some guys are playing for pride or jobs. But Indianapolis is playing for a playoff spot. Jacksonville has given up long passes to Baltimore and Minnesota recently. And with the Colts offense, this could be a long pass to Pascal. It could be a long pass to T.Y. Hilton. And we know how bad Jacksonville is against running backs. So this could be a screen pass that breaks big to either Nyheim Hines or Jonathan Taylor. I feel like there's going to be at least one, possibly 2 big plays for the Colts offense against a disinterested Jacksonville team. I'm guessing one of them is going to be a pass. I'll take Phillip Rivers over 38 yards for his longest pass.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't talk you out of any bet that fades the Jacksonville Jaguars defense on the last game of the NFL season. Let's talk some Dallas Cowboys. You're interested in the Cowboys as a first half, as a first quarter. And I'm very curious why you isolated Dallas early as opposed to full game. Tell us about it.
Okay, so if I'm looking at the Cowboys, I've been pretty impressed with them. I think, they got so much grief earlier in the year of just how bad they've been. But after their bye week, they kind of have righted the ship a little bit. Dalton's got the offense a little bit more on track. And they scored 20 points in the first half against the Eagles last week, 17 points in the first half against the 49ers, and 17 first half points against the Bengals. And the Giants are giving up 15.3 first half points in the last 3 games. And the Giants are only scoring an average of 2 points in the first half the last 3 games. That's a really big margin. The Giants are getting off to horrible starts, and the Cowboys are getting off to better starts. We saw Ezekiel Elliott run the ball a lot better last week. Who knows if he's getting healthy or if he watched Tony Pollard run better than him and he got a little extra motivation. But I'm going to take the Cowboys first half team total over. And I'm also going to play them to cover the first half. The first half spread's only half a point. So I'll take the Cowboys, who have started off pretty quick against a sluggish Giants offense in a game that has a lot of ramifications. So,
Andy Lang, everybody. Andy, before we get to the NBA, because I know you're doing props in the NBA, and that's something that's going on daily, so people please pay attention to that. You can find Andy at WagerTalk.com. Jets did it again. They scored in the first quarter again, 9 in a row now. This play has just been gold for everybody betting it all year. We got one more shot. I feel no reason why we shouldn't be taking it again.
Nope, you got to take it. You have to take it. It's the prop of the year, maybe the prop of the last decade. I've never seen such a bad team hit an over so many times. And we got to get to that magical number of 10. If we can get to 10 in a row, this is going to go down in history as one of the best prop bets, not of this year, but of all time, the Jets first quarter. So we have decided that we are going to do an award show at the end of the year. We're going to combine it with one of our Super Bowl prop episodes, and we're going to do the propsies. And I have a feeling the Jets are going to be in the running for prop of the year award.
Well, Andy, it's funny. 2 years ago, not this past NHL season, but the NHL season before that, and please ask Andrew McGinnis about this. The Chicago Blackhawks went over in the first period, over in goals, 26 games in a row. So the Jets have a long way to go. Teddy?
But the key is when you find one of these under the radar angles like this,
don't
you
tell anyone
ride
on
it till it dies. If you cashed last week, you try it again this way. And you don't have to put, it's not like you have to double or nothing the whole way. But you ride, you and eventually it'll die. Eventually it'll lose. And when it loses, that's that. Sometimes if the trend is good enough, you wait till it loses twice before you stop betting it. But these are like the gifts that keep on giving, and savvy bettors can and will take advantage. Hope you guys were able to take advantage of that Jets first quarter angle. And he's been talking about it for 2 months now, and it keeps paying every single week.
Yeah, and really quick, and then we'll get to the NBA. I want to just give a shout out to Cole Beasley and Travis Kelce, both of them. Your hands, your route running, and your quarterback made me a shit ton of money. Those two have to be nominated up there with the Jets. I don't know the statistics, but man, I think I've only lost one Cole Beasley over in yardage in the last 10 or 12 games. So shout out to both of those two. Andy, NBA, really quick. You're going to be doing NBA props all year? Every day? Is it a daily thing?
Every day. Sometimes we'll have one bet. Sometimes we may have 3 or 4. I had my first bad night last night, went 1-3, but we're still hitting it 57% for the year. And like Teddy talked about, what I'm doing right now, when you're in your first week or two, you're really trying to find the trends. So you don't go crazy on your bankroll. You're not making 5% plays this early in the year. You're trying to find those under the radar trends with players or teams. And I'm starting to find some. I had one that I had dialed in, and he had a horrible game last night. But I'm going to keep going back to him. My clients know who that is. I'm not going to say it this yet. But there are a few teams that I am focusing on and trying to find those trends. But yeah, I have a good read on a few of these teams. And in the NBA, that's what I think is the best thing to do. You focus on 4 or 5 teams. There's no way you can study every single prop of all 30 plus teams and know them inside and out. You pick your spots, and you pick the teams where the trends kind of expose themselves, and then you jump on it. So
let's talk about Russell Westbrook as someone that has piqued your interest for Thursday night in the NBA. The winless Wizards, 0-4. They just lost at chalk to Chicago the other night. Really weren't all that competitive in that game. I was watching. The Bulls were impressive, and the Wizards defense looks like it has looked through the first 4 games. Nonetheless, a short turnaround rematch tonight, and we're talking Russell Westbrook prop. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so we've all followed Russell Westbrook, and we know he gets into this mindset of, I'm just going to get my stats. And boy, it sure looks like he's doing that this year. So the total is over 42.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's gotten this total 2 out of the 3 games this year. And the game he didn't get over 42.5, he had 42. So he just missed it by 1 rebound, 1 assist, or 1 basket. He's gotten a triple-double in all 3 games. And this game against Chicago has a total of 237. So it's telling us there's going to be a lot of points, which means a lot of shooting, a lot of potential assists, a high-paced game. On Tuesday against Chicago, he had 21 points, 15 rebounds, and 11 assists for a total of 47. And the Wizards only scored 107 points in that game. The Bulls, they let Steph Curry get over this 42.5 total. They let Domantas Sabonis get over this total of 42.5. And they let Trae Young get over this total. So in every single game, the Bulls have let a player get over 42.5 points, rebounds, and assists, and 3 of them were guards. So I'm going to look for another big stat game for Russell Westbrook today.
Man, that was beautiful. Great stuff, Andy Lang. Anything quick to promote?
Yeah, so I don't have a whole lot of plays. So on WagerTalk, if you go to my profile, you can get a week long of props for $59. That way, if I only have like one play 3 nights in a row, it's a really, really incredible value. Like I said, we're at 57%. And I do want to point out to there's a really interesting NBA game to watch. We were talking about trends. It's the 76ers versus the Magic. The Magic 4 overs, no unders. The 76ers 3 unders when Joel Embiid plays. So I'm going to be focusing on that game, just kind of watching to get some information. Will Simmons and the 76ers slow down Markelle Fultz? I think we're going to learn a lot moving forward with those two teams. What's going to win out? Is it the unders with the 76ers, or is it the overs with the Magic? So that's a really interesting game. Golf starts next week. I can't believe golf is back with the Tournament of Champions. So golf was very, very kind to us, over 60% last year, looking for a great year of golf. So right now, NBA props and golf right around the corner.
Andy Lang, everybody, thanks so much, brother. Really appreciate you being on here, and you'll be a regular guest moving forward in 2021. A happy New Year. All the best to you and the 6 women in your harem. I love having you. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Shit. Joe, can we
He's kidding,
can we get rid of that, please? Can we delete that part of the show?
Thank you guys for having me on and let me be a part of it. Great stuff.
We'll be back, everybody, with Teddy's big game breakdown.
Matt Josephs has been on fire in 2020 at sportsmemo.com. He's almost #1 across the board in almost every single sport. Right now, if you purchase a 1-week all access of Matt's plays, we're going to add on an additional 7 days for free for only $89. That's right. You get 14 days all access for $89. All you have to do is go to sportsmemo.com and choose Matt Josephs from the expert dropdown and choose the 14-day special. No coupon code needed.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. And I'm going to use a theoretical game today. 2021 versus 2020. I made 2021 minus 150 against 2020. And of course, in 2020, what we had? We had a nasty pandemic. We had a lockdown and cancellation of sports for 4.5 months. We had unemployment, hunger, food insecurity, racial strife, riots, urban unrest. We had radicalization on both the left and the right. We had a contested election. We had wildfires, heat waves, hurricanes, global warming issues. Personally, I lost my nephew, Theo, who was the single most devastating loss of my life. Not even close. But there was also extra time with family, which we all talk about, time to recharge, which I needed and everybody needs, and profitable results in the NFL, college football, and NBA. There's 2020. So everyone I'm talking to is like 2021 is going to be better. It's got to be better. It's got to be minus 1,000 against 2020. My number is only minus 150 against wildfires, heat waves, hurricanes, pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. Here's hoping that we're not all sick, broke, and at war next year at this time, because all of those would make it, maybe that minus 150 is a little bit high. And yes, I'm a little bit tongue in cheek here. 2021 is supposed to be better than 2020 was, but I'm only making it minus 150. I know the action's coming on 2021. Everyone expects the better year. What I'm saying is be careful what you wish for. Prez asked me to ask you to make sure that if you like the show, to press the like button. Thank you. That's all we ask. There you have it, Prez. Back to you.
Yeah. So that was a big like push. Teddy, I think your personality was incredibly encapsulated with that big game breakdown. Firstly, it provided people with nothing. Literally, they can do nothing with that big game breakdown. But more importantly, it demonstrated the pure pessimism and dourness that ekes out of your pores on a daily basis. I will like to take that bet, Teddy. I say 2021 at minus 150. Put me down for $1,000.
Well, see, the whole problem that I have with this is that no one's betting the dog. I started out with pick'em, and then I'm like,
Well,
that's
then you
short. And
didn't
then I'm like,
get a
minus
good line.
120 is short, and minus 140 is short. It's got to be at least minus 150 at a minimum. I get that, but just be careful what you wish for, man.
Teddy, speaking of wishing for, some of the guys in the chat room want one final 2021 flex, 2020 flex. So here it is.
Oh, God.
Nobody wants it. Some of the guys in the chat room.
Oh, Joe. Yeah, next week there will be no Prez. Yeah, baby. Taking a week off. Teddy, let's bring Ralph Michaels in, and let's see if Ralph has a better chance. Ralph, Teddy, literally, when I ask people to hit the like button, I get like 30 quick likes. Teddy,
Prez, please, Prez, tell me your New Year's resolution is to never flex again on this show, ever. God, that would be the best resolution. Teddy, when you were, honestly, when you were in the middle of your rant, I was starting to sing Billy Joel, We Didn't Start the Fire, and then you got solemn with your nephew, God bless him. But before that, I honestly swear, if you play it back, it is like, you didn't start the fire. And I'm thinking of all these scenes in my head that you could put up to Billy Joel's song. So that's what we should have done for you, is have a collage of Billy Joel stuff with you popping up, pandemic and urban unrest. So good rant.
Ralph.
I appreciate it.
Ralph.
What do you make? So what are you taking, Ralph? 2021. You taking 2021 minus 150, or you want the dog of 2020 as being the superior year?
You know, I'm usually the optimistic guy, Teddy. So I'm gonna be the optimist that it is gonna be better. And yes, it may start slow for a month or two, but we've seen people learn to live with it. We have the vaccine coming, and let's just hope everyone does the right thing and we move forward. So I'm going to be the optimist, and 2021 is going to be a much better year.
There you go. I'm telling you, all the action's on the chalk.
Yeah, so Teddy, you're obviously shit at setting up lines. Guys, hit that like button, please. Really important to us. We need it. We want it. We've actually earned it. And of course, we appreciate it. Ralph Michaels, regale us with your incredible information, please, sir.
It's funny how when you're on live TV and you have the overplay of the football game and your head starts creaking this way as you're trying to watch the scores for it's Mississippi State 7, Tulsa nothing. Tulsa completed about a 25-yard pass. Angle of the day, division away favorites of 8 or more since 2014. They've gone not only 63.6% going 21-12 ATS, they've also gone 9-23-1 over under 71.9%. That applies to Baltimore, Cincinnati. I also have another bonus angle that I didn't send in, but I think it's meaningful. When two division teams play each other within 3 weeks, the team that loses the first, like Atlanta against Tampa Bay, is now 20-5 against the spread. 20 wins, 5 losses against the spread. In the Teddy, 2 division angles. Either of them get a thumbs up from you on this final day of 2020?
So the second one makes a ton of sense to me. We're talking about 20-5 ATS and a short turnaround between the two games, the first meeting and the second meeting. It absolutely makes sense. The first trend, I didn't see it on the screen and I didn't fully understand it. Can you run it one more time for me?
It's just division away favorites of 8 or more. They are, when you have a division away favorite of 8 or more like Baltimore, they are not only 64%, but they're 72% to the under. So you have division foes that know each other, may be playing again, will know they're going to be playing twice each year, unlikely to run up the score, 9 overs, 23 unders, and 1 push since 2014.
Sure. And I think that speaks as much about the home dog as anything. When you're talking about favorites of -8 or higher, you're talking about betting against on the road. You're talking about betting against bad teams at home. Bad teams at home struggle to score. That one, they both pass the smell test. They both make sense.
Well, situation of the day. Not a wow event, but I think people are going to be semi-surprised. So my situation of the day, as we break into this NBA season, we're just going to dive into an NBA situation probably for the next couple weeks. I just wanted to look at how NBA teams do off a loss as a favorite. I went back since 2016. So we have 4+ seasons. And you see, if a team is off a loss as a home favorite, 49%. Off a small home favorite, 50%. Here's what surprised me. If you are off a loss as a double-digit home favorite, you are only 45.2% the next game. I would think that teams tended to rebound. So something that I thought, I actually proved wrong to myself in this chart.
And that's one that it makes a little bit of sense as well, because you're talking about home favorites of 10 or more who lose straight up. When that happens, they're not playing good basketball. So to have those teams in their next game continue to underachieve ATS doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me at all.
Take a look at the over-under, Teddy, over to the right. When those big home favorites of 10 or more lose outright, they have actually gone over 61% of the time. Anything you make out of that, or is that just an anomaly with the percentage?
No, that makes a ton of defense. When you think about a home favorite that's going to struggle, it's going to lose outright, against their opponent, that you have bad shooting nights for sure. But when a team that has been good, because they're double-digit favorites, they're a pretty good team. When those teams, you start to get chips in their armor, a lot of times that comes at the defensive end of the court. So I'm not surprised that those games tend to trend over as opposed to under. It makes sense that there's a defensive weakness or a defensive lack of energy that's costing those teams games.
Teddy, that's what I absolutely love about you. I can be lazy, watch a football game, throw up some numbers, and ask you what they mean, and you give us the perfect answer. I appreciate this. Well, you know what? Thank you yesterday to one Canadian, Buster Sports, with a first-half winner. We're going to another Canadian on this final day of the 2020 year as Prez gives us his Friends of Ralph play of the day.
Oh, goody. Ralph, That would be the Prez play of the day. It's Thursday, not Friday. But if you would like,
it's what I put in Slack, Prez, that says, remember, today is your play of the day because it's the final day of the week because there's no show, just like we did last Thursday on Christmas Eve. Okay,
dude,
good deal.
Dude, I'm going to give you out a play that I'm betting in NFL. I'm releasing to my clients, but I'm giving you no analysis. And that is the Dallas Cowboys. That play will be released. It's -1.5. It counts as your Friends of Ralph play. So there you go, everyone. The Prez is betting the Dallas Cowboys, and Ralph, I'm 3-1 on these Friends of Ralph NFL plays. So they have been a bit lucky to me, man.
So after the first of the year, we going to NBA or college basketball for you?
NHL when it starts.
Okay,
but yeah,
fair
I'm
enough.
good to do NBA.
Good.
I'll
Okay.
give out NBA play, no problem. We'll keep going.
I mean, I don't want you next week to have to give out cup playoff plays, but you let me know. I mean, I'll just throw it to you. If you want to do the playoffs next week, that's fine, or NBA. So, hey, I've got a slot on Friday open just for you, Prez. You've done a nice job going 3-1. So keep up the good work into the 2021 calendar year.
Wow, thank you, Mr. Ralph Michaels. Guys, that's the show. I want to thank everybody. I mean, we've had so many different guests on this year. The show began this year. Teddy, Ralph, Joe Ranieri, all the regular guys. It's been incredible fun. All you listeners, again, thank you. I won't be around next week. I think Joe has a parting gift for me probably coming. Steve Merrill will be sitting in the host chair. And as well, on the NFL presidential address, Matt Joseph will be hosting, and Rob Vino will be guesting. A happy New Year to everyone. Lots of love to you all. You guys mean the world to me. Teddy, take us home.
Sure. Hey, bottom line is thanks to all of our guests all year long. Thanks to you guys for watching the show and making it look. We created something in 2020 in terms of Wager Talk Today. I'm telling you, next year, 50,000 a day. Right now, we're at 5. By the end of next year, we want to be at 50. So help us help you. In the meantime, enjoy the games. Good luck. We'll be back again on Wager Talk Today next year. Stay safe out there and Happy New Year.
Pay less and make more money by getting 3 months of picks from your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo handicapper for free. Right now, if you buy a 90-day all-access pass at either site, you get an additional 3 months of access added on for no additional cost. This is going to cover the NFL, the college football bowls, NBA, NHL, MLB through June. Plus, if your handicapper does UFC, soccer, tennis, golf, it's all included. To redeem this offer, just go to your favorite handicappers page at WagerTalk or sportsmemo.com and choose the New Year's resolution promo and lock in 6 months of picks for the cost of 3.